We might have another portage here. Maybe not.
So you were out here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Talk about how much different was it 2 weeks ago, and how much higher the water was, and what the differences were.
The water was about 2.5 or 3 feet higher. Most of what we went around and had to carry over it, we just floated over it 2 weeks ago. We had to get out.
The beauty of this river is that it is black water, so it's like a black mirror for the sky and the trees. It's very wild. We're at the Aucilla River at Highway 27. So this is a good place to put in for kayaking or canoeing. And there's a number of places you can take out all the way down to where the river goes underground after, I think, 25 or so miles.
The Aucilla River paddling trail runs for 27 miles of the upper river. Is it a big drop when we get down to the Cody Escarpment, or is it noticeable at all?
Yeah, it is noticeable. There'll be some rapids there.
According to the trail guide, published by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, this trail is for intermediate to advanced paddlers. As an intermediate paddler transporting a videographer, I think I did pretty well.
And you really need to look at the water level too. The water levels are online, the gauges, and so we have an estimate about where the ideal conditions would be. If it's too low, sometimes you have to pull over some of these snags or maybe these little rock dams they built a long time ago.
Yeah, let them hack away through the canoes.
And if it's too high, it can get a little bit dangerous if you're up in the tree branches. So you want to kind of just in this mid-range level.
It was a challenging day, but in the end, we only came across 2 snags that fully blocked our way.
Show us how to do it, Doug.
For the second one, we went over instead of around.
You want us to help balance you? See the alligator up there? All right, we're all here. The right-hand side is the beginning of the Red Hills area of Florida. And to our right, you'll quickly run into red clay, which designates the Red Hills area.
That red clay soil has influenced the history of our region for hundreds, even thousands of years.
Because the Red Hills region, the soils were so much richer that it enabled them to grow a lot more grain and a lot more livestock in this area.
And it's proven out in so many different ways.
Ann Holt has written 8 books. She is currently working on a murder mystery set in Tallahassee and a history of Jefferson County.
When the Spanish came across the Aucilla and realized that the Appalachians were larger people, and it's because they had better land and they had better food. The people who wanted to settle in Florida right after 1819 wanted to settle in this area from here to the other side of Gadsden is where the finest land for raising cotton was.
Pull up over to the right.
This area was inhabited for thousands of years before the Appalachia.
Doug, let's pull up here. See, this mound is a chert outcropping, and the river cuts through the side of it. And this was a napping site right here. This is where they worked and shipped their tools. I mean, 10,000 years ago, they were sitting here napping off tools.
The Aucilla River flows out into the Gulf of Mexico, but you can't paddle the whole way there.
So just be aware, the river does not go through all the way. It goes underground and it comes up in a series of sinkholes at a place called the Aucilla River Sinks. About 30 different sinkholes, one of the most scenic places in the country.
The Florida National Scenic Trail runs along the final stretch of the river before it goes under, and on through the Aucilla Sinks.
You could paddle this river, you can hike part of the Florida Trail, you could go down to Goose Pasture and paddle the Aucilla River and the Aucilla Slave Canal and reach the lower Aucilla River, where it comes back from underground, and go all the way to the Gulf of Mexico if you want. So you can do a real combination of trips. The river is probably less busy now than it was 100 years ago because they're not doing the massive logging like they were doing, and it's turned back into more of a wild river.
And one of the great things about this river is that it's almost totally unspoiled. You saw very few houses. There are no septic tanks leaking into the river. It's a clean river. It's got a lot of archeological resources in there. We're really proud of it and want to keep it that way.
It's a great wild river.
For more information on the Aucilla River Paddling Trail, visit the DEP Office of Greenways and Trails website. Here, you can also find trail guides for other rivers in the state of Florida. For WFSU, I'm Rob Diaz de Villegas.